Hello?
Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
You're a little quieter than usual, but I can
Okay.
hear you.
Yeah, I turned it down because I was talking to someone else last night. Let me turn it up. What's that?
Murphac has been on since I started up, but so far neither Zeke nor Arte have shown any sign of life.
And Murabot's not online.
Yeah, but that Murphac is on Skype here, so.
Oh, great. Hi, Murphac. He's muted.
Yep.
Hey, Susan.
Oh, hello. I bought a Roomba yesterday and got it set up, and it mapped the whole house, and I cracked up the whole time. Because it seems like it's alive, huh?
Okay. A Roomba?
A Roomba?
Yeah.
A robot vacuum?
Well, they aren't vacuums, are they? I thought, last time I saw one, it was just a sweeper.
No, it's a vacuum.
Huh.
It vacuums things up, it suctions things. And then I bought the model that it auto empties into its home base.
Yeah.
When its tray is full.
Yeah.
And you can name it. I've been struggling to think of a name, but maybe today I'll name it Larry. That way you can clean my house.
Sorry, but it doesn't work that way.
I could name it Hoover, but that just doesn't seem very original.
Actually, a funny thing, I'm not sure if you're aware of this bit of trivia, but in England, the brand name Hoover is used as a generic term for vacuum cleaners.
Oh, like Kleenex.
Yeah. So in England, if you have a vacuum cleaner, you probably call it a Hoover, whether or not it's made by them.
Right.
This morning, my mother was regaling me with how bad one of my relatives was.
Oh yeah?
She was. What happens is that my uncle was married before. And had 2 children with her. Then they got divorced, and she took up with someone else and had a kid with him, apparently, which I had not known before. But what happens is that the daughter, who is a cousin of mine, I believe that one of her kids was graduating from some level of school or other. I forget. I'm not quite sure which one. it was at least high school. And he wanted to inform his grandmother that of his accomplishment. Despite the fact that neither of my cousins by her actually were in contact with her for many years.
Her meaning the first wife, right?
Yes.
The aunt that you never knew, or
no, I met her.
Oh, okay.
She was never very friendly to the rest of the family. But what happened was that his father had bought him, my uncle had bought him a piano, and he used to practice on it, and actually was starting to get to where he was halfway decent. And she sold it. So the cat, without permission from either my
so
uncle
it was
or my
was it
cousin.
passive aggressive?
I'm not sure if there's anything passive about selling someone else's piano.
Okay. Passive aggressive meaning like without his knowledge.
Anyway, but the point was that after that, he never really wanted to speak to her again.
Oh yeah.
And then,
It's hostile.
yeah, and then my female cousin, his younger sister, stopped speaking with her a few years back. I don't quite remember the reason, whatever that was. In any case, so she went ahead, because it was her son asking, she went ahead and sent a message. She got a reply from her younger half-brother that she had died and had deliberately left instructions not to let either of my cousins know.
Oh.
Said the main reason, of course, seems to be is because she had no intention of leaving them anything in a will.
Right.
And so she had instructed him not to tell them that she was dying.
Right, so they couldn't even question whether they were due anything.
Yeah. But yeah, my answer to that when my mother told her was that she was spiteful to her last breath.
Yeah. I used to do estate planning, and it's estate plan is really a way of communicating how you feel about people if you think about it. I mean, it could be. I mean, it could be purely practical as well, but sometimes it could be used in that manner.
For the people, we have 14 people tuned into the stream at the moment. For those of you in the cavern, you are hearing us, correct?
Well, they wouldn't know if they weren't hearing this if they're not in Twitch.
Yeah, but I know whether or not they're hearing me if they reply.
Oh, so you want an affirmative response, not a negative response, okay.
Basically.
In fact, I gotta adjust my window up here.
Okay. There and there I have my replies.
Okay.
I'm not what you make me out to.
Okay, my Roomba is officially named Larry today. So I will be
You have
Sending you
no idea how unspeakably honored I am.
unspeakably what?
Honored.
Honored. We've already. Well, you cleaned my office when it had a different name, but I think I'll appoint you some more tasks today. I'll have to think of something appropriate. Maybe send you into the bathroom. Just kidding.
By the way, do you still have the dog that I'm seeing as your Skype avatar?
No, I need to change the picture to another tan English Cocker Spaniel.
So you do have a dog, just not that one?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to have him. The pictured dog put down, but then a week or two later I got another dog. I was lucky. Found another dog. Let's see, how do I change my photo? Settings. Profile picture. And yes, my dog was barking at the. He was interested in the Roomba, but he barked at it one point too because it startled him. He started coming after him.
If you have a Roomba, then you need to have a cat because the cat's right on those things.
Yeah, I think I've seen pictures of that. Let's see. Let's find a picture. This one might be too small. Let me try this.
Mr. Magic has made Magic Bot very, very chatty.
I saw that before I logged in. I was watching you and Mula, and he was telling you he was moving places.
Still is. It's actually kind of annoying.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You might have to put him on ignore temporarily for this tour. Otherwise, all the tourists will go after Magic Bot. Okay, that photo is a bit small. You can see more of his dog bed than you can see of him. Find another one.
Okay, I think I just put Magic Bot on ignore. And Mirrorbots online.
Yay! Okay, that picture is not sized properly.
I won't see it till the next one we connect anyway.
Oh, it doesn't update instantly?
No.
Oh. Okay. Well, this one will have to do for now. I need to change it in Discord too. So did you find where I did list the 2024 dates in my schedule that I sent you?
No, I didn't. But I wasn't the one talking about that. That was Arte.
Oh.
Oh, Darlene's on Skype. I mean,
Mawa!
Twitch. Good morning, Darlene. Yeah, for her, it's still 9 a.m.
It's almost 10 here.
Oh, so you're in mountain time, huh?
No, PST, PDT, Pacific.
Pacific?
Mhm.
Well, yeah.
California?
Oh, yeah, it's 9:52. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost 10.
Mm-hmm.
There. On Discord. Oh, with the Discord picture, you can resize it. Get the dog and his toys in the picture.
Hmm. We're up to 18 people tuned into the stream, which is not horrible.
No. What was your highest count ever? Like over 30, right?
I believe that our highest count on for a tour has been over 50.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that was probably that was a few years ago, I believe.
Oh, gosh, I see a lot of newcomers here.
RT is showing up in my buddies list.
Oh, good.
Before we begin today's tour, I do want to say that for those of you who are not on Facebook, I made an announcement there that today's tour is going to have something of a first. I've got, but you'll have to find out what that is when we get to it.
You're going to hoover the age? No. Okay.
I could use some of the coins.
For those who are just logged in, I bought a Roomba yesterday, and today I've named him Larry. And I'm going to have him clean my house again today. Oh, I need coffee.
And just for your information, that's the only way she's ever going to get someone named Larry cleaning her house.
That's right. That's right. Well, I doubt you'd want to travel across the country to do it, although you'd probably enjoy it. Just kidding.
Actually, no, I hate traveling. Okay. It's about. It's almost time for the tour to begin. At this point, we're just waiting for Susan to come back from getting coffee.
Where's Zeke?
Well,
Not
he's
in.
remember the proverbial stray cat. He'll be
Oh
along
yeah.
if he comes along.
Okay, I'll be there in a couple minutes.
Let me. Oh, hang on for a second. My microphone is not turned on. Um, okay, is that okay for the volume? For the microphone?
Well, of course, I can hear you more clearly because I'm on Skype. The volume's okay to me, but at the tourists who matter, it's a little
Earlier
muffled,
today, I tried to
even to me. It's a little muffled
update
to
the
me.
firmware of my microphone, and that always fails when I try to do that. But it turns the
Oh,
microphone off.
Arte, are you coming into Skype to say hi to everybody?
Okay. Susan's not back yet, so
No, I
we're
am
still
back.
waiting.
I am back. Can you hear me? Can you? Okay. All right. Well, good morning, afternoon, possibly evening, everybody. We are here for our umpteenth cavern tour. We're going to be touring an age that's all of you had to have solved. I'm not going to tell you yet what it is, but you'll know within a few minutes. If you can hear me,
I
you're
use
obviously
Skype
signed.
for the tours because that's something that I can integrate into OBS, which is the software I use for the stream.
OBS sounds like a disease. Sorry, I'm thinking of IBS. Here we go. This is the raunchy humor right off the bat. And so I'm going to type. I'm going to do a last check to make sure everyone's in Twitch.
Is Susan talking? Because I'm not hearing her.
Oh, yes, I am talking.
Huh.
Hello? Oh, they can hear me. Larry, did you mute me?
Actually, I'm not hearing anyone.
Oh, good. I'll lead the tour today. Yes, and the Dunny built this in 1980.
Okay, let me see.
Arte hasn't spoken yet.
Good old days.
Okay. Just for the heck of it, things are going a little wonky, so can you all hear me? Susan is showing as connected to the call, but for some reason I'm unable to hear her. And Arte says he's having problems with his mic.
Can you guys hear me now? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Can you hear me, Susan?
Yes. Yes. I typed in Mula chat that I could hear you. Larry removed me from the
Okay.
call because he was trying to figure out his issues.
Okay.
Skype's been really buggy. Hello,
Susan,
Larry. Yes.
it's past time for us to start, so why don't you go ahead and get things rolling, and then
Yeah, I
I'll
already sent
let
everyone
me
to
know
nervous.
by in-game text chat that you're ready to go.
Okay. Can you hear me, Larry? Larry can't hear me. Okay.
Sounds like you can't hear Susan yet, Larry.
But you can hear me, Arte, right?
I hear you 5 by 5, Susan.
Okay. Hi, Arte. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yeah, you were out of town last month, if I recall.
No, I was moving last month.
Oh, well, okay. You were out of the house, literally? Out of one house?
Yeah, I moved 90 miles east, and it took a while to. Well, we'd started packing up the house back in February, and we had a lot of crap we had to move, and give away and dispose of.
Yeah. It's a good time to declutter.
Yes, but really hard on the body though.
Yeah. We ain't young anymore, Arte. Of
No,
course, you're going to rub it in. I'm a couple months older than you, but
of course. And you know what, Susan? No matter what happens with us, you will always be older than me.
I know. Until I die. How's that? Yeah.
That's right.
Well, we're both still breathing.
Well, we're both on the right side of the daisies.
Exactly. That's correct. Well, I'm telling everyone in chat to link to Murabad, and there's still a dozen people in the cavern, so. You know, it wouldn't be a tour if there weren't technical difficulties.
Yeah, but you both get
Exactly.
to feel good that you're younger than I am.
That's true. Neither one of us will ever be as old as Larry, and that's very comforting.
Like a warm blanket, huh?
Yes. Now, Arte, I don't think you were here when I shared the news that I bought a Roomba yesterday and that today I've named him Larry. Did you
A
hear me
Roomba?
say a robot vacuum?
Yeah, I've got one of those too. You named
Yeah,
him Larry, huh?
For today, yeah. For today, his name is Larry. I'm gonna I think I'll have him vacuum the bird's room today because it didn't do a good job yesterday when it was named something else. Okay, Arte's still in the hood. Arte, if you could please link to Mirabot and Ural.
I just sent Ural a message
I saw that.
in game.
Yeah,
He's
I usually
probably AFK at the moment, so
I usually stay behind to make sure. Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and link. He can catch up. We're already 13 minutes in the tour. Here I go. Whee!
Whee!
City. So link you to the city. We're not supposed to be in the city. Why are we here? Is this where? Oh, I get it. I know why we're here. Never mind. Okay, Larry.
Yep. Yeah. I turned on the sound on the stream, and I can hear you over that.
Why are we here? I get it. I know why we're here. Can everybody hear Larry?
Okay. Today, as you can see, we're going to be talking about Guildmaster Kadish. Guildmaster Kadish was a Dini man who lived in the time leading up to the fall of Dini in Dini year 9400, which was 1744 on the surface. His birth date was unknown. He was a member of the Guild of Writers who was dismissed for unknown reasons around Dini year 9320. During his time in the guild, he was a talented writer and amassed a considerable fortune. After his dismissal from the guild, Kadish purchased the Great Tree Pub, an upper-class lounge located in the Chitari district of Agra Island, and he also purchased a storefront in Agra's Canyon Mall, which he renovated as a museum of Dini and outsider artwork. The pub and the museum thrived under his management, and they became very popular in upper-class Denis society. Kadish was fascinated by the prophecies of a man called the Watcher, which were written in a book that he called Words. Kadish wanted to be acknowledged as the grower, a person the Watcher had said would be able to control time and space and who would bring prosperity back to Denis. Kadish went through extraordinary lengths to carry out the signs that had been written about the grower. He wrote or purchased ages for the sole purpose of creating special effects that fulfilled the prophecies as best he could. Some of the ages he know that he owned were Annonay, the Annonay Cathedral, and a section of Urkana. The latter age was a granary age that was owned by the Guild of Caterers. Kadish bought a processing plant in it from the guild, and at least one set of fields outside the canyon. In Annonay, he constructed a massive machine to give his guests the illusion of traveling through time. These ages were intended to fill one of the paragraphs in Words which said, "The grower will take time. The grower will bring light. The grower will have ages. Take time and move it to and fro. Bring light and give it to the dark places. Have ages and link to them without bindings." Annonay was intended to show that he could take time and move it to and fro. Urkana was intended to restore the health of the lake algae in the Denis cavern to full health, showing that he was the one who could bring light and give it to the dark places. Kadish placed linking books to the Annonay Cathedral and Urkana in the Great Tree Pub after renovating it. He made an intricate puzzle known as the Path of the Shell that blocked off access to the great tree sculpture that the pub took its name from. Kadish boasted that he was the only person able to solve the puzzle, and although he said that the solution was obvious to anyone who had read the writings of the Watcher. He even scattered references to passages from Words as clues. Kadish wrote a private age called Tolesa around the year 9395, which was 1739 on the surface. Approximately 5 years later, he fled to it during the events of the fall of Denis. He died there, possibly of hunger and thirst. There was a linking book to his gallery in the vault next to him, but in his final letter, which can be found lying near the body, he wrote, "There are linking books here, but I will not leave. I have decided this." Yesha wrote comments in the margin of his note, in which she expressed her disbelief that a man like Kadish would end that way. It seems that it gave her an idea, and that she eventually wrote another instance of Tolesa. In that version of the vault, Kadish's body and most of his treasure is gone, and she left other scraps of paper scattered around. On them she wrote, "I have conquered the stream. These streams are said to flow of their own will. These streams, said to flow of their own will, now flow where I direct. These are the powers of gods, and I now have this power." And she also wrote, "I've saved his life." Those notes have caused a lot of speculation among explorers. Most believe that it means that she went back in time to rescue Kadish, and there is even an idea that she took him from Tolesa back to the Denis cavern during the time when she was learning the art from her mentor Callum. That theory proposes that Kadish was the man who murdered Callum. I personally do not believe the theory. That's because since she knew that the person who came to the cavern was going to murder Callum, I don't believe that she would deliberately bring him there knowing that. And then there was the Kadish that never was. We all know the Kadish, who was a rather charming rogue who wanted to be the grower of the Watcher's prophecy and who owned ages devoted to his effort to be seen as the grower. But early on, the DRC had a very different idea of who he was. The early version of Kadish was a writer who delved into criminal behavior. He was kicked out of the guild in 9320 due to suspicions that he was writing illegal ages. That particular Kadish came from a wealthy family and, as a result, had the money needed to start his own business after being ejected from the guild. Obviously, he was looked down on for his removal, and as a result, his store fared poorly at first. However, with help from his father and the passing of time, the store began to gain popularity, and the elite began to visit it more often. Eventually, the store held a variety of art pieces from both Denis and outside ages, pieces that were eventually well known for their value. However, little known to most of Denis society, the real success for Kadish was coming from his writing of illegal black market books. The store was more of a front than anything, albeit a successful one, where both the elite and theoretically the poor could come with book requests. Because of his connections with the underground and the black market, Kadish had a fairly good idea of Agaris and Veovis planned in Denis. He heard bits and pieces, and though thought most of the rumors to be he heard bits and pieces, and though most people thought that the rumors were ridiculous, Kadish began to buy into them. As a result, he quietly began to prepare an age where he would be able to safely go if the fall occurred. Over the years, Kadish began to store his most valuable possessions in that age, and the age began to consume him, as did his possessions. He carefully constructed puzzles to prevent others from being able to get to the age, although many of the clues to the puzzles in his store he hid many of clues to those puzzles in his store. In theory, that was in case his family needed to try and get there. Eventually, he became almost mad, as some called him, completely consumed with his possessions and his age that hid them. However, when the fall occurred, he was safe. Unfortunately, his family was not. When the explosions hit, Kadish immediately ran to his safe age and forsaking his friends, family, and so forth. Though he presumed they would show up someday, they never did. As a result, he lived the remaining years of his life with his possessions. In that early version of Kadish, he was married to a famous Denis singer. The music on the canon here in the Kadish Gallery was supposedly left for him by his wife during the fall of Denis to let him know that she was still alive and waiting for him. I, of course, find a few flaws in that story. First off, what singer runs around during a disaster with a chamber orchestra in tow so that she can do a recording, and then stops to record that song right in the middle of the tragedy? Second, if she somehow gotten here to the gallery, why didn't she use the linking book to Tolesa to join him?
Well, it's like the
Another
band playing
early
while the Titanic
concept
goes down,
was that
right?
Kadish did not own the Watcher's Pub, Annonay, or Urkana. The owner of Annonay did not have a name in that first version of events. And that brings us here to the Gallery of Kadish. Kadish, of course, had a major personality quirk. In addition to being a bit like my mind's gone blank on the name there. Anyway, he couldn't make a lock that wasn't a puzzle, and he couldn't make a puzzle without leaving clues to it somewhere. Kadish was fascinated by the Book of Prophecy words, wanted to be the grower. He spent a great deal of time and energy and money trying to fulfill the conditions for it. But his successes during his career in the Guild of Writers meant that he had the money to spend on that hobby. It was Kadish who called this place the Kadish Gallery, and it did become almost an overnight hit when it opened. In the end, though, it was simply another one of his tricks. The artwork was indeed made by Denis and Arotanti craftsmen, but Kadish commissioned all of it to his own specifications, and he wanted it to serve a specific purpose. This gallery is a shrine of clues to puzzles in the various ages, he wrote. It delighted him that no one in Denis ever figured out any of the clues, considering how popular these exhibits were. The gallery was designated as City Interior 080 by the DRC. They began evaluation and restoration of the gallery in 2001. Marie Sutherland was in charge of the work. It passed Phase 1 inspections in August of that year. Phase 2 approval was achieved in 2002, and a detailed analysis of the room began in November. That work was completed, and the gallery received Phase 3 and 4 approval by early 2003. The gallery was turned over to Michael Engberg for architectural analysis, and he finished it and approved the structural integrity in May of 2003. Marie Sutherland then completed the restoration, and the gallery was given Phase 5 approval. However, the doors to the street were still broken, so that the only way into the room was to link into it from another via a linking book. The doors remained inoperable until Engberg finally got time in his schedule to track down the damage and repair it, which is believed to have been in 2006. When you enter this room from the street, you take a fairly sharp turn to the west. This building is a 2-story structure contained in a ridge of tall stalagmites that form a peninsula off of the main part of the island of Agara. It intrudes on the space behind the 2 doors that are west of the gallery's doors on the Canyon Mall, which means that those interiors are probably stacked above or below the gallery. There is no room for those doors to open on rooms on the same level. If you look around the gallery, you will see Denis writing along the top edge of the wall. The text reads, Retemel ach Kadish, and is repeated continuously. That translates as the Gallery of Kadish. On the second level, just inside the entrance, and where we are standing now, is a circular balcony with a dome above it that resembles a night sky. It is not stated anywhere which sky that dome represents, but it may be the sky of Garternay given Kadish's themes elsewhere. I won't discuss the artwork found here, since that is something each explorer needs to examine for him or herself. However, there is one thing I want to point out. If you look at the pillars that support various parts of the room, you may notice that they have markings on them. Let's see if I can get a look at... Yeah, here we go. So one of the pillars along the side of the room you'll notice that there is a design on these pillars. That in one document, it stated was Kadish's family crest. Murphak, if you can, please, if you can you open up the secret room for us?
Yes.
Just FYI, Larry, we're looking
Over at
I
the,
think, your abdomen.
Under the balcony, there is a wall that separates the space under that balcony until from the rest of the chamber. That is not solid. There is actually space behind it. And I believe, yeah. This space where we are now is what I call the secret room.
This is where I store my chocolate.
This space is semicircular and there are no doors into it. In it, the same Denis writing that says the Kadish's gallery, which is seen near the ceiling in the rest of the building, run us along the baseboards. It's quite likely that this room was created as an error during the construction. It would have been an easy oversight when the balcony was installed for the space below it to be left inaccessible due to an oversight in the building plans. But accident or no, given that most of the clues to Kadish's puzzle, depending on things that are missing or hidden, it seems highly appropriate to me that the building containing those clues would also have a hidden room. Okay, Murphak, if you can, please take us to Kadish Tolesa now. And while we are waiting for that, does anyone have any questions about what I've said so far?
Nope, no questions. Can you hear me, Larry?
I don't think he can hear you yet, Susan.
Mm.
But there's no question so far that I see in chat or in Twitch.
Nope, no questions.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Larry?
I had to unmute my computer that's running the stream window. Yeah.
Larry's not going to give any spoilers about Path of the Shell, although you might see some shell symbols where we're going to visit.
What on earth?
We try not to give out spoilers during the tours.
I see that some.
Larry's not going to give any spoilers about Path of the Shell, although you might see some shell symbols where we're going to visit.
Hang on just a second while I check what's going on with my camera. Okay. Okay, I've fixed up my camera, and that should be back in business in a moment here.
Hello. Sorry I was late.
Hi Zeke, how you doing?
Good.
We've been having some difficulties. Larry can't hear us.
Ooh.
Go ahead, Zeke. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Hey, Zeke.
You can't hear us?
Yeah, we've been. Skype did an update today, and when I logged in, I was muted,
Hello,
and then
Zeke.
Larry was muted, and everyone was muted, and we've been having problems.
Mine always in the audio settings of Skype. You got to change the. Sometimes it switches if you have a bunch of speakers to a different speaker. Like it would switch to my microphone speaker instead of the computer speaker.
Oh, okay.
So you could text them that.
Okay.
I don't know if Larry saw the comment in Twitch from Cora Van Noort. Sorry for butchering your name. I still like the theory that Kadish is Calum. I know it doesn't neatly fit with everything in the game, but it would be interesting.
That's also known as Koravev, Susan.
Oh, I knew it was someone. I just couldn't remember. Hi, Coro.
Most people connect Kadish with Escher from Myst 5.
Is this a disco here?
Okay.
What are you doing?
Why the heck am I not seeing? Oh,
If I have any sudden movements of my avatar, it's because my cat has decided to lay on my arm, and he loves to try to type.
My dog
I am not
noses
seeing
my hand away from the mouse.
the stairs down from this
when he wants
platform.
attention.
Am I being blind?
You don't see the what? The stairs from the. Well, Larry
What are
can't
you
hear
looking
me.
for, Larry?
He's looking at the stairs. Like Kadish Tolesa.
The stairs
Oh.
leading down?
Okay.
There's a wall
Anyway.
here. There was a wall.
Oh, maybe he was trying to get his bearing of where he was at.
In here.
I missed the first part.
I have my.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to listen to him on Twitch.
I'm on my way back to actually the first chamber that which is where I thought we were going to be.
Okay. I'll have everyone. Well, he can't hear me.
Okay, you can use Find Larry to Mirabot in order to join me if you are not walking over here. One thing that I'm going to point out is that just like every other approved Denis age, this age does have a maintainer's mark, which is I'm currently looking at. It's on the ground in front of me. Just like every other approved Denis age, this age does have a maintainer's mark, which is I'm currently looking at. It's on the ground in front of me. When Yisha included Tolesa in the Path of the Hand, she was using it to convince explorers that the Denis were scoundrels who were greedy and hoarded wealth. And when for the Path of the Hand, she included words from the writing of Urpa, an ancient Denis prophet. And for this age, let's see, here we go. This is the quote that she included, that she referenced when she...
Only the way a man is when he is hidden is how he is. A shallow glimpse can deceive. Look deep, ponder, and recognize all that is hidden. Only the way a man is when he is hidden is how he is. A shallow glimpse can deceive.
Okay. Could you say something, Susan?
Yes, something.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
What happened was I just figured out why it is I wasn't hearing you. So I've got you.
Oh, good.
For some reason, my headphones had become disconnected.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I just realized that when I played that audio clip and I didn't hear it.
Oh, you didn't hear your own audio clip.
That's fine.
Okay. Anyway, in Yisha's Barrow Cave speeches, she also had something to say when you completed her puzzle that regarded Kadish Tolesa. And then let's see if I can... Where is that? Here we go.
The bones of Guildmaster Kadish speak louder than words. His bones are the bones of Denis. He clung to the teachings of good King Nagin, who required good citizens to cling to their treasure. This Kadish you have seen would not give back, would not return, would not let go. He had long been one of the wealthiest of the Denis, owning more than he could possibly make use of. He built aegis to protect the extra, and when the fall came, he clung to his possessions over all else. and so you see only death in his vault. Extravagant death. It is an image of Denis.
Her words in that quote were, of course, a distortion of the truth. While Kadish had made Tolesa to keep his treasure safe, he wasn't shy about spending it to entertain at parties. However, to him, his wealth was a mark of his success and accomplishments, and in the end, he chose to stay with it and die, rather than abandon it for an uncertain fate. Yisha mentioned a king named Nagin. So who was he? And what does that have to do with saving money? Nagin was a king who ruled Denis from the year 2356 to year 2533, and he was considered to be a good king. He was a patron of the fine arts and did much to encourage their growth. He was a ruler who elevated the Guild of Miners to the 18 major guilds, and then split the former major guild of fine artists up into minor guilds of sculptors, artists, actors, and musicians. But that split was not a bad thing. It encouraged growth in the mining industry, and it also encouraged growth in the fine arts. Two major causes that Nagin championed throughout his reign. The move was supported by the artistic community because for each discipline to have their own guild leaders, financing, and support was excellent for the growth of their respective disciplines. Nagin was a direct influence for Kadish. He was the king who had the first guild hall built atop the tomb of the great king on Agra Island, and the main council chamber he constructed was a massive treasure vault that was protected by various puzzles. I have no doubt that Nagin's vault in the guild hall was a direct influence on Kadish decisions when he built Tolesa. Yisha was deceptive when she said that Nagin required people to cling to their treasure. What Nagin taught the people of Denis was to put their money aside, not for themselves, but for the sake of future generations of their family, so that they might have better lives than their ancestors. Tolesa was written by Kadish after he made a fortune as a guild master. When he parted ways with the guild, he of course did purchase several properties. After he bought the upper class lounge of called the Great Tree Pub, he spent a great deal of his time entertaining there and spent money lavishly on it. Tolesa, let's see. I mentioned already that Tolesa, I believe, or maybe I didn't. Tolesa was written sometime around the year 9395, or 1739 on the surface, although the exact date is not known. It was written as a private age that served as a massive security vault for his wealth. In fact, the name Kadish Tolesa means Kadish sealed place. In Denis, that has the connotation, sealed place has the connotation of a vault or walk-in safe. At the time that Tolesa was written, Atris's father, Gen, would have been around 3 years old. Tolesa is comprised of 2 main sections, a dense forest of massive trees and a series of underground rooms ending in a huge spherical cavern. The forest section has many birds that can be heard up in the canopy, including woodpeckers. There are also frogs that can be heard occasionally that sound very much like the Itram frogs of Riven. Some early documents say that the above-ground portion of Tolesa was the site of a mansion that Kadish built for himself, and that the ruins that are around her are the remains of that mansion. After writing Tolesa, Kadish bought a shop. That was when Kadish bought the shop on Agara Island. The surface world part of Tolesa that we can walk in is made up of a maze of giant trees. The trees themselves seem to have the characteristics of some of the giant eucalyptus trees of Australia and Tasmania. And the leaves that fall to the forest floor seem to have the shape of a type of eucalyptus called Regnans myrtaceae. It is possible that the trees we see later in the vista are the tops of the same kind of tree. The leaves on the lying on the ground here exhibit eucalyptus characteristics, one of which is that they are bilaterally asymmetric. In Australia and Tasmania, such trees are called by various names, including giant ash, mountain ash, Victorian ash, swamp gum, Tasmanian oak, and stringy gum. Gum trees are indeed members of the eucalyptus family, and those names somewhat fit, but ash and oak trees are unrelated, so the names are not accurate. It has been suggested that some eucalyptus regnans trees have been the tallest trees in recorded history, taller even than the coastal redwoods or the sequoias of the United States. However, that cannot be verified because of the sad fact that the Australian logging industry has cut down all of the trees that might have been contenders for that title. One tree that may have been the tallest in the world was destroyed to make 75 tons of newspaper. I'm going to switch over to the stream for a moment. Let's see. Okay, I'm putting up a picture of a eucalyptus regnans tree so that you can see how the trees that we're around resemble it. And the next picture I'm putting up is the stump that is all that remains of what have once been the tallest eucalyptus tree in the world. Three telescopes make up the first puzzle that had to be solved before a visitor could continue the journey through the age. A linking book to the gallery can be found in the room that houses the first telescope. However, Kadish was a bit too subtle to place a book tying his gallery to Tolesa, so it is. While it is thought that the book that links from the gallery to Tolesa was left behind when he was escaping from the fall of Denis, it's unlikely that he left the return book to the gallery lying near the first telescope. It's more likely that Yisha placed that book there as part when she was creating the Path of the Hand.
Is it formally called the Path of the Hand? I've never heard that term before for some reason.
The names of Yisha's various quests are generally after the symbols that were used in them. So
yeah, right.
So since
Interesting.
the Path of the Hand is called that because all the journey cloths have the hand symbol on them.
Exactly. Right.
The first and second telescopes are in separate rooms that are connected to each other by a window, while the third sits in the middle of the main passage. The second room, of course, has a unique gazebo surrounding the telescope. And it's thought that particular chamber may have been part once of a kind of garden for Kadish's mansion. Okay, let's go ahead and walk along the path here. You're all probably quite familiar with what the telescope puzzles look like, so we're going to go ahead and skip past them. Okay. Something that I always stop and point out here is that the third telescope that you have to solve, if you've ever looked at the opposite side of the telescope eyepiece, you will see that the telescope itself is a water feature. It has a small waterfall of down into a basin at the bottom of the telescope. This is the only fresh flowing water that we find in the age. That particular fountain is something that's actually kind of easy to miss, so I always point it out during the tours. The other thing that you will see is that once we get through the tree trunk, which served as a block to further progress throughout the age, when we get on the other side, you will see a blue button on the wall near the exit. And that is there. If you press it, it closes the door behind you. And that is what Kadish would have done when he came here. And just on past the doors, we come to a chamber. This is been known as the Moon Room. The Moon Room gets its name because of the shapes of the objects in its hanging sculpture, as well as the nature of the light that comes in from above. It's also interesting to look at the safety rails that line the spiral ramp down to the floor. While they are not an exact match, they are suggestive of the tile pattern on the floor. There is a door in this room, but it's locked and has never been opened, so we have no idea if there is anything on the other side. It might just be a fake door, it might be a broom closet, or it might be a room of some kind. We'll probably never know the answer to that. And going down the ramp.
Larry, I don't know if you picked up on this, but one of our tourists here is brand new to Mula and hasn't even solved all the ages, Jessica.
Oh. Unfortunately, a lot of what we're doing is going to be spoiler territory for her, but
yeah, I warned him or her.
We don't at least we don't tell her how to solve the puzzles.
Exactly.
Speaking of that, I'm trying to actually beat this age without any walkthroughs or hints.
Oh.
When you
could just forget everything and just start brand new.
When you do everything properly, of course, it opens up a pathway out of the room.
Susan, I'll tell you where I got and where I'm stuck at.
Uh-oh.
When we get there.
I like to walk through this deep puddle here for some reason on the right.
Something about Earl. I always want to run through the puddles or anything with water.
Yeah.
You little puddle jumper, you.
Puddle jumper, yes. It's Mirabot, not MagicBot, but yeah, if you PM help to Mirabot, during another time, please don't do it now. He'll give you a list of his commands where you can port through the age using various means.
I'm going to stop right here for a moment because just in front of me is one of the only two live creatures that we know exist in this age. Right inside, in front of me is a little solitary firefly bouncing around in the air. There's the only other living creature in this age is another one just like him, who's over at the other set of steps that lead from the vista here. This is the only part of Tolesa where we can see a little bit of the world beyond the trees. The DRC were the ones who called it the Vista. Like many other Denis ages, there are fireflies here, but they are solitary and territorial, and there are only the two of them. The Vista is a shelf which is part way up a cliff face. It overlooks a large, mysterious area that cannot be seen due to what appears to be either fog or a layer of thick clouds. All we can see are two types of giant tree. Note that the trees in the distance have a differently shaped canopy than the ones that are closer to us. The two kinds of trees are unidentified, although one is probably the same kind of tree that surrounded you on your way here. That also leads to guess that the other type of tree is also a giant eucalyptus, although that cannot be verified. Given that giant eucalyptus trees can grow nearly a mile in height, the ones in the distance allow an estimate of the height of this shelf. It may be about 1/2 to 3/4 of a mile above the ground the trees are rooted in. The vista has a feature which cannot be seen all the time. If you look off in the distance, you'll see a bright patch, which is the sun of this age. But there are clouds that frequently cover it. That's off towards the left-hand end of the shelf. The clouds occasionally thin out enough to show that there is either a moon with its own atmosphere or a twin planet visible in the sky near the sun. An early document from the DRC implies that it is a moon. Okay, Murphak, can you set up the on-lake effect here? Oh, you can see the moon now. Okay. I was hoping that we will allow you to be able to run around off the shelf, but that may not be possible. In any case, if we come over into the next area, this area is called the Pyramid Puzzle or the Sun Room. It's called the Sun Room because the sun plays a big role in its workings. The puzzle is inside a room that has a four-sided pyramid built over it that has a large ball on the top of it. The ball is a lens and prism arrangement that is similar to a periscope and is used to collect sunlight and direct it to the pyramid's interior. The pyramid is another room which has many doors in it that were intended to deceive would-be robbers. Murphac, can you go ahead and work the ball at the top of the pyramid so that we can see it working? Thank you. When you operate the controls, you can see that the ball at the top of the pyramid rotates so that it's not so that now it's receiving sunlight and taking it to the interior of the building. And when it rotates, the prism is pointed downwards and is cut off from the light. So the interior of the room turns dark. And for those of you who've never seen it, as you can see, the operation of the ball is completely animated. Okay. Now, those of you who have solved this puzzle know that there's an elevator involved, and we don't want to work elevators as a tour because they both slow things down by quite a bit, and people can get stuck when you try to use elevators or ladders as a tour group. So I'm going to ask Murphac to warp us to the corridor beyond this puzzle. And please do that now. Thank you. Once we are past that, and of course this puzzle also has the blue button on our side of it to close it behind us. And that's what Kadish would have done when he came through here.
This is where I'm at, Susan.
This next area is called the Pillar Room. The central pillars which form the puzzle are raised and lowered by use of weights and counterweights, which you can see moving up and down along the wall when you're manipulating the puzzle. Okay, Murphac, go ahead and warp us up to the top, please. We are not going to do anything with it because, again, it's another place that is both slows us down and can cause problems with the game if we try to tackle it as a group. So this is the home stretch. We are finally to the underground chamber where Kadish installed his vault. No visitors were ever known to have gotten this far during Kadish's lifetime, but if any had, the ones who made it all the way through would have been rewarded with this view of the actual vault. The pipes that you see throughout the room serve no purpose other than support for the vault. Much of the walkway structure has collapsed in the last few hundred years, but in Kadish's time, back in the 1700s on the surface, This would have been much safer to walk through. There are a few remaining guardrails to show how it must have looked when it was in good repair. The interior of the vault contained most of Kadish's liquid assets and artwork that he valued. There is one interesting anomaly which I'm standing next to at the moment. On the left-hand side as you enter the vault, there is a painting of scenery from the age of Teledon. This appears to be a painting of an earlier version of a view that is shown in a painting in the Baron's office, which was the place that Douglas Sharper had on Agata Island. Kadish has no known association with Teledon, so why he would have kept this picture in his vault is a mystery. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and in your web browser, if you look at the stream, I'm going to bring up a copy of that painting. Once you've had a chance to get a good look at it, I'm going to bring up a copy of the painting that's found in Sharper's office so that you can see the difference. So if you look at the painting here, you will notice that there is the Denis work platform around the mushroom, and it's just below the cap. However, the energy tower is missing, and so
And does that make sense given the context of when Kadish lived with respect to the Denis restoration?
well, the thing is that at the time that Kadish lived, Teledon was owned by a man named Monesmo, who was running a slave trading operation out of it. but Mnemosyne was trying to restore that age. I should say he was actually restoring it to make Denis mushroom bread. So which he did. Okay, let's go ahead and turn that off for now. Okay, and let's see. You'll notice that this room has a great many gold coins laying around it. Kadish had quite a fortune. It lies in piles on the floor, is suspended from the walls and the support beams in hammocks of cloth. This is the only place that I know where Denis coins can be found. The obverse of the coins have a profile of a man, but it is not known who that man was. Given that the coins were probably minted centuries after the abdication of King Kurth, it might be the image of a man who was important to the Denis for other reasons than being the monarch. There is one coin in this image I'm about to put up. Let me go ahead and... Okay. If you look at the stream in your web browser, I'm going to put up the a close-up of the coins. The reverse of the coin appears to be holds what appears to be a figure of a man sitting on horseback. Unfortunately, none of the text of the coins can be read in the image. However, an explorer named Andrew Futterman noticed that these coins bear a striking resemblance to British gold sovereigns that were minted between 1902 and 1910.
We're not seeing the close-up of the coin. Were you able to get that?
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I turned on the wrong thing. I'm sorry. There you go. The British gold sovereigns featured King Edward VII on the obverse and St. George and the Dragon on the reverse. So here's a picture of one of the real coins so that you can see what they look like in detail. Personally, I find it rather amusing that the artist who created the image of St. George apparently believed that he rode into combat against that dragon in the buff. Because he isn't wearing, other than a cape, he isn't really wearing any more clothing than the horse is.
Oh dear. It looks like he's wearing socks.
He's wearing something on his feet and a helmet. I believe there's a song like that. You can leave your hat on.
Oh no.
I believe that was Randy Newman or someone like that. When Ageris and Veovis attacked the caverns, attacked Denis with a mix of poison gas and deadly bacteria in the event called the Fall of Denis, people tried to flee to places of safety. It was mostly futile. Those that survived the gas died from bacterial infection and served as carriers to infect others. Ageris and Veovis even passed infected bodies through every linking book they could find in order to spread the bacteria to all of the ages possible. Only a fraction of the Denis people survived, mostly those who were in other ages, or who managed to flee before the cloud of poison gas and bacteria reached them. Those who did usually managed to disable their linking books, which is what saved them. Those people could not return for many, many years, and in fact it wasn't until Atris and Catherine went searching for them that the survivors of Denis reunited and began the job of burying the remains of the victims of the fall. Kadish fled here, which was the safest place he knew, not knowing that he was already as good as dead. When he discovered that he was doomed, he decided to die here, surrounded by his treasure. He left a note behind on the floor near his feet. And today, to set this tour aside from every other I've done before, I spent most of a week in consultation with Richard A. Watson. And we now, for the first time ever, are going to reveal precisely what that note says. So
you heard it here, folks.
Yeah. For everyone here, this is a first-time exclusive. The note reads, La Roche Zuoi, which means, I have reached my end. Manshutav ten Milishan Zu, death embraces me. Yim Rashathon, I see its darkness. Dohartenen ga dofoesen viteoi, or vileoi, Bakuza. It is circling and waiting for my soul to surrender. Vichtavtion refinit saathoi. Its screams torment my sleep. Korvachti keni tometru bril Bakuza. There are linking books here, but I will not surrender. Le'emi, I have won. Kintomet tebivru mirror. I am here with everything that I own. Rurov chan shintoin tamizu. No one can take it from me. Bomanshu tomet to east. I will die here with them. Tomet kenen bavanen ga bochakan bavanen. This place is hidden and will remain hidden. Hoi hevti met dohurit pal refunima ruril kokino. If these words are ever found, remember that I did not fail. Ril Comanche Terildil. I did not die with nothing. Comanche Tebivdil. I died with everything. Fiteama se tsosatavtioi. Look in my possessions. Pishoit bezu ga bokenit tezu tsan. They belong to me and will be with me forever. Shora, peace, or farewell in this case. Tel Nava Kadish, Guildmaster Kadish. And that is the complete and 100% translation of that note.
Very interesting. It's interesting he would write a note to people even though he thought the vault would never be found.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is that you have to notice that he did not view his death as a bad thing. To him, it was a victory. But Yisha strongly identified with Kadish since, like her, he thought he was the grower of Denis prophecy. She couldn't believe that he wrote those words and scribbled her own feelings for his note in the margin. Her words read, "Could he ever realize such failure? What kind of end is this? Impossible, unless..." The thing is that apparently she didn't understand when he said that he did not fail. He won. In any case, in the end, she was unable to accept such an anticlimactic ending for Kadish and wrote a linking book to an alternate version of his vault, which is over near the entrance. Murphak, can you take us to the alternate vault now? Thank you. Oops, this isn't the alternate. Yeah. We'll give him a moment, and he should be able to get to warp us over there shortly.
Did Kadish believe in the afterlife?
There's nothing yet that says he did. Okay, here we go. This is a different instance. I should say, we don't know for certain whether or not Yisha wrote this as a new creation, or if it's simply a different instance of Kadish's vault. All that is certain is that her version, in this version of the vault, Kadish and most of his treasures are gone. The alternate vault is separated from the rest of Kadish Tolesa. Yisha collapsed part of the walkway that led from the vault to the tunnel system. It's also, if you go to the door, you'll see that in this version of Tolesa, she did not include the journey door that led to the Barrow Cave. In this vault, Yisha left behind scraps of paper. On one, she claims that she saved, quote-unquote, his life. On another, she claims to have the power of gods. I personally take that as a sign of advancing insanity. She might have begun to lose her mind when her beloved mentor Callum was murdered and she avenged him. Or it could have started when her older brother Cirrus trapped her mind in the dream in the age of Serenia. One can only guess. But she did leave behind many clues that show her mental state. And in her speeches in the Barrow Cave, she openly admits that she had been seduced into arrogance by her own power.
Quick question, please.
Mm-hmm.
Since you can't link from one place to another within the same age, this has to be a different age, right?
That's one of the things, is that Yisha was able to break that rule, as you recall. You can link directly from your Relto to your Relto with your linking book. As you can see, there are crimson Kadish butterflies fluttering around in this room. These butterflies are native to an age called Lakian. But because they were first discovered here, they were named after Kadish. I believe that Yisha might have written them into this vault because Kadish was fond of the arena games held in Lakian. And Yisha left behind a Relto page that sends some of these to your Relto as a reminder of Kadish's story. And one thing that, Murphak, please take us back to the original vault. Yes, notice that Arte's comment, Yisha learned how to blink from one place to another within the same age from the Barrow, around the time that she was training with Callum. That was when she got a lot of her training from the Barrow. Now, if you look around here, you'll notice that there are carpets, vases, and other objects that were valuable to Kadish. Among them are suits of armor and ancient weapons like spears. These, the Dani, by the time of the fall, did have firearms. They had guns that they could use, as well as bladed weapons. So the chances are that the armor that you find in here and the shields that you see lying around are all ones that were considered valuable antiques, which is why he would have them here in a vault. And that is it for today's tour. So I'm asking Murphak. I've asked Murphak if he can set up an on-lake effect outside the vault in the chamber so that you can run around and explore a little bit. But that's it. That's all, folks.
Does anyone
But that's all, folks.
Does anyone want to try to stump Larry with a question you think he can't answer? Anyone?
So we don't know much about the two different vaults or why Yisha created it. Though I posted it on the Lure channel. Could that be like a different dimension sort of thing? Not necessarily a time travel, but somehow using to change a timeline in a way during her Borrowstone tour.
The thing is that creating a new age, even if you create a new instance of it, that instance does not in any way affect the original. So even if she did create an instance of the vault in which Kadish was alive, it does not, as you can clearly see, affect the fact that he's still very much dead here.
What would be some of the motivations for her to create that a different instance than the one she saw?
Hang on just a sec. If you come outside, you can now jump off of the walkway and move around freely inside the vault.
Otherwise, you'd fall.
Someone asked about the throne, the chair that looks like a throne.
That would have been just an antique chair, more than likely. Say, Kadish never had any kind of delusions of royalty or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Is it me, or does the vault look like a gigantic spider web legs?
Jessica, that's something that you'll have to play the game and solve this age in order to find out. Say, we're not going to give that away because it is a spoiler.
Yeah, Kadish never had any delusions of being royalty, just of being the grower.
Yeah.
Right. And Yisha thought she was the grower too, right?
Yep. Actually, Yisha had more reason to think that than than the average person did. But that doesn't mean that she wasn't that it wasn't at least partially a delusion of hers.
Well,
but
I mean,
at first,
go ahead.
At first, she didn't think she was the grower. She thought Callum might have been the grower.
Oh. But Atris raised her to think she was destined for something special, right?
That's correct. Atris was not exactly the world's greatest father to any of his children.
Oh, dear.
Say, in addition to ruining his sons, he basically dumped pretty much every problem in the world squarely on Yisha's shoulders.
Yeah.
And told her to get busy solving.
Well, I mean, it sort of made sense because his two sons turned out to be a disappointment. I mean, after all that he was teaching them about balance and everything, and that they turned out to be destructive. Mm-hmm. I guess he just maybe overcompensated and vested all of his dreams onto Yisha.
Pretty much.
His unself-realized dreams, I would say.
Cirrus and Akinar actually were fairly normal, if slightly mischievous children up until after the death of Anna. Atris's mother and their grandmother. And the thing was is that Atris and Catherine were so caught up in their own grief that they let the boys run wild. And Cyrus, who was the more ambitious of the two of them, decided to take Achenar to the mechanical age, where they set out on a small boat. And although Achenar didn't realize it at first, Cyrus went there deliberately to join the Black Ship's pirates. And it was when they were with the Black Ships that they learned that they got a taste for Cyrus, of course, got a taste for money and power, and Achenar got his taste for killing things.
Cruelty.
And
Yes.
drugs.
But that was all basically caused by the death of Anna, because they were actually a fairly happy family up until she died.
In fact, one of Cyrus's prized possessions when he was stuck in his prison age was an image of Atris, Catherine, Anna, and the two boys playing with the sailboat in the pond on Myst Island.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fun fact: if you guys want to link to me, PM Mirobot find Arte. You'll be able. I'm behind the vault, and you can see a larger version of the Kadish letter.
What?
Okay, I found you and I can't move. Let me see where I am.
Okay,
Yeah.
mine's not working for some odd reason.
I mean, it says I found him, but
Try jumping up and down.
I'm stuck. Let me work
You're
back
stuck?
to Mirabot. I'm stuck.
Well, so you can PM Mirobot walk 1, and that
Okay,
should
walk
break you free.
Really? Well, I
Once you-
typed
Once you
W and
link
I
to
didn't.
me,
Oh well.
once you link to me, if you PM Mirobot walk 1, you'll take 1 step forward, and it should unfreeze you.
Let me see here.
They do this, Jessica. They do. This is a trick that they use for most
There
of
we go.
the documents. They have they have a thumbnail for the game, but they have a large version off screen so that you can or off camera. That is what you get when you click on that document.
Oh, here I am. I had to go into F1 first person view to know what I was looking at. Now, that is the note that Kadish wrote that Larry translated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And then the red handwriting is Yusha's comments.
Yes.
Cool. So Rawa, did he have that like deep in a folder somewhere? Or how did
No.
Rawa remember all that?
Actually, he didn't. He had tried looking for his translation of the document and couldn't find one. As it turned out, though, he had most of the words saved as a file that was not part of his actual dictionary. So he, while he was looking for one of the words that I needed, he ran across that document and sent it to me.
That is awesome. And by the way, if you look in Twitch, Rawa's mama is, of course, Rawa's mother. She likes to attend our tours. She comes as often as she can. Did Rawa get all moved okay? Mala?
Her name, of course, is Darlene Watson.
So do you want to post the events for today? And
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Arte, I typed in chat. Our next tour, our tours are the fourth Saturday of each month at 11 a.m. key time. Our next tour would be then June 22nd. So we hope to see you back. Oh, remove but not unpack. That'll take a while. And Arte, would you like to describe your story night events?
Absolutely.
As the schedule is up, by the way.
So I tell the entire history, 10,000-year history of Denis. And it's a 2-year story cycle. And the story night is 1400 key time every Saturday and 2330 key time every Saturday. And right now we are in the process of telling a piece of fan fiction, and it's a 5-part chapter play. And tonight is part 4 of the chapter play. And if you've missed the first 3 parts, it's okay, because I give a brief recap of the story so far, so you won't miss too much. And that starts in about an hour.
And then you have a late night version?
Yeah, late night version is at 2330 key time.
If you look at the stream window in your browser, you'll see that I have today's schedule up. And the Cavern Tour and Story Night are not the only events that take place on Saturdays. So
thanks for coming, Jessica.
Yeah.
Sorry. And go ahead, Larry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You first.
I was going to say that that won't help you today, except because the only one left is Story Night and the IO Heat competition. But if you next Saturday, I believe that Phil usually does his music program on every Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks 10 key time, which is an hour before our tour.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they moved the karaoke up too. It used to be at, I think, 1600. Now it's at 1100, same time as us.
Yeah.
The AOHIG, for those who are new to the game, which I think Jessica left already, is that game table in each hood, the one that's downstairs with the symbols floating above it.
Yeah, it's a very elaborate version of rock, paper, scissors.
Yes, yes.
However, I've mentioned this before, but I'll go ahead and mention it again since we're talking about it. The name Ayohik was coined when Richard Watson was after Richard Watson watched that old fantasy movie, The Princess Bride. During the Princess Bride, the hero has a contest with one of the villains, in which he challenges the villain to guess which goblet of wine is poisoned. And in that, the poison that he uses in the movie is called iocane. So the Io is taken directly from that name. Heek is the name that is the word that was used to describe the weapon that Gin had in Riven, and it literally means cane. So Ioheek is Iocane.
Very interesting.
Except the game is always printed out as being Aohik, A-Y-O, instead of I-O.
Ayo is how I'm pronouncing it. Ayo.
As opposed to Deo, I want to go home. Okay, on that somewhat humorous note, or non-humorous note, we hope to see you next month. Thanks everyone for coming. Big round of applause for Larry, Murphak, Arte, and Zeke.
Yeah. See ya.
And it is just coming up on 2 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream now. Goodbye, everyone.
Take care, everybody.